Kia ora, and welcome to Constellations and All That. I'm your host, Tracy Cartwright, and together we will be exploring the world of family constellations with facilitators and clients from around the world, looking at different perspectives and experiences in the work, having a cup of tea and just chatting with some friends around their experiences in constellations. We'd love for you to join us. I hope that you enjoy this series as much as I have loved making it. Kia ora everyone, and welcome to Constellations and All That. Today I have the pleasure of talking with my friend Cherise Squire, and the reason I've invited her on is to talk about her journey. Now, just a little warning here, we are going to be touching on the subject of suicide and some things that are very sensitive. So if this is something that is heightened for you at the moment, just coming into this with a tender heart and maybe feeling into whether this is what you want to be listening to right now. So with that aside, welcome, Cherise.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I reached out to you because I've been really called recently, and I did a little recording the other day around the vanished twin or the vanishing twin. And that's part of your story, but in a much bigger way than the vanishing twin that I was sharing, where often it's unknown. And it was unknown, but it's a bigger story than that for you, right? So
Yes, yeah.
so I'm going to let you introduce yourself and just share a little bit about like when you and I first met and some of your journey for the listeners and the viewers to hear about your journey.
Okay, so yes, like you said, I'm Cherise, and I've been in New Zealand it'll actually be 12 years in February, so 11 and a half-ish years. Yes, so you and I met about 3 years ago now,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've known you my whole life, though. I feel like it's been more than 3 years, in a good way, in a very
Yeah.
good, positive way. And yeah, kind of not really, since I've left home, I'll call South Africa home because I do feel it as a sense of home. I basically just never felt, I never felt whole. I felt like I'd kind of lived it with each foot in each country,
Yeah.
which many expats do. I felt it in a really, really strong way. I had these like chains holding me down to South Africa. And when we basically bought our own place in New Zealand, I had horses, I had sheep, cats, dogs. I had it all. I had everything I could have ever asked for. And I definitely did feel a sense of home a bit closer, but never really could settle. It was never, I was always in this turmoil of, is this going to be home? Like, I couldn't really tell where I was going or if I want to go anywhere or just kind of really lost, like quite lost. But
Yeah.
having that sense of living in our own space gave me a sense of grounding. I guess the best grounding that I could have had at the time. Yeah, I think my horses were a massive grounding for me. They really held space in a way that nothing else has held space for me or that I've experienced hold space for me. So they were, I think, the foundation of basically the change in where I went with my life at that time.
Yeah.
So in 2022, I lost two of my horses, and so I've
Mhm.
always had a sense of I've always had a really deep spiritual connection with animals. It's just been from very young. It's been there. I've never fully understood it. I don't try to understand it. I just go with it, and it is what it is. And so when I lost the girls, one was my dear horse Sky, her foal at about 11 months, and the other one was my daughter's little pony, her first pony. She had told us that she's just finished. Her body's not keeping up anymore and she wants out. And the little foal had a type of foal cancer that develops in the jaw, and it was massive. It was of the biggest that the vets have seen.
Wow. Yeah.
And her message was basically that her purpose was for me for her to help me to find my joy. At the time, I was like, I'm fine. I've got you guys. We're happy. We're having a happy life. We're fine. You don't need to, like, where's this going? I kind of never
Mm.
understood what she meant by you helping me find my joy. And yeah, so we lost the two girls the same day. And that kind of moved my life around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then 10 days later, I lost my dad, which was another huge shift in my life. Kind of knew he was not well, but he was actually better, which in hindsight, like I should have known if I'd listened, if I'd known what to listen for, maybe. Yeah, so that happened. And I went to South Africa to
Mm.
basically spread his ashes and bury him and all that. And it was just a real awful visit. It was the worst visit I could have ever imagined. No chance to process anything. My mother was in a really bad place. Really just had to hold space for her. So it was basically 2 weeks of just suppressing absolutely everything that happened in the last month, just basically doing business, going there, getting stuff done, paying bills, doing all the hard yard stuff. On the Friday, oh, was it on the Monday? Sorry, I arrived on the Monday with absolutely no sleep for about 4 days of traveling
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything. Funny enough, I went to a sound journey on the Friday, and then it just woke up the next morning. My husband at the time and my daughter, they were out. They had gone to friends. And then I remember standing, we had these big glass windows, and I just remember standing by the window going, well, I think this is the end now. This is where my path's taken me, and this isn't, where I'm supposed to stop, and I don't feel like it needs to go any further. I just didn't have any concept of anything beyond that moment
Mm.
of day. And it really was tunnel vision. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel upset, no emotion. It's just like brushing your teeth type thing. It wasn't there's no thought really put into it. It was just, okay, this is it. This is where it stops. This is what I have to do. Do you want me to go into the detail of what I took or anything like that? Maybe not.
Um, not no, not necessarily, but
Yeah.
you took some medication, didn't you?
Medication, yeah. Yeah, and so that was the suicide. I didn't obviously do it at home. I did it far away from home. I did it at a beach where I would always ride my horses. Yeah, peaceful place, no one around. It was just kind of
Mm.
just went out. I thought, okay, this is it. Yeah, from what I remember was I just stood. I'd obviously left my body and I'd stood outside the car, and it was like the side of the car was actually just cut in half. There was nothing there, and I was just watching myself. I don't know if it's going in and out of conscious or whether I'd gone or what the situation was, but I had been standing there watching myself. And yeah, they were beings in all the forest because it's backs onto a huge forestry, and they were massive beings from what I remember in the forest. Huge, huge beings, like dark, really like dark, what we would conceptualize as evil demons visually, but they were absolutely not. They were just color dark, and they were just there watching. I get the feeling it was a process I needed to go through. That's just what I feel about it. It was something I had to actually go through, and they were just kind of supervising, just kind of overseeing things. But there were lots of them. The whole forest was full of them, and very wise, kind, very old, ancient, ancient. So I felt very safe. And not for a second did I think things were out of control or what have I done? What am I doing? So and so is going to hate me or nothing. I just thought nothing. There was no thoughts, just this is what we're doing, and they're there watching, and that's it basically. Yeah.
So what happened from there? How were you found?
Another intuitive friend of mine actually could sense that something was not right with me that day when she spoke to me in the morning. I sent her a
Mhm.
message, and my reply was she picked up immediately something was not right. So she tried to phone me over and over again, and I hadn't answered. I hadn't replied to messages. I sent her one message when I was sitting in the car at the beach, and she knew immediately. She phoned my ex-husband at the time, or my ex-husband, and they were trying to figure out where I was. And between this friend and another, my really good friend, because she happened to phone another friend. Between
Yeah.
the two of them and another, actually, there were three friends involved. They had figured out where the beach was, and so they sent an ambulance, and they phoned my ex-husband. The ambulance came, but I think my heart had stopped by then. So they called the helicopter. They got my heart going. I think in the ambulance, from what I can remember, my ex-husband telling me is they put me in the ambulance, and then that's where they got my heart starting again. So
Mhm.
who knows? Like, it's quite unknown of what actually happened. I've tried to find out, but there's just no information about what happened
Yeah.
at that time. But from what he saw, from what he told me, is there was, yeah, kind of no hearts, or pulse, or weak pulse, or weak heart. And
Yeah.
then in the thing they got it, and then went to airlifted, went to the hospital, and apparently there it all kind of went pear-shaped again. And I do remember a little bit of the hospital. I just remember lying on a bed, and there was just tons of people around me, just lots and lots of people around me. But again, I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. There was no fear. It was just like going through processes. You
Yeah.
need to go through certain things to get to certain things, and this was just another thing to go to.
So how long were you there before you reached out to me?
So I was in hospital for that day or overnight. I think I only woke up, I think, the next morning. I woke up. It was like early, quite early in the morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning. I woke up. Woke up to a security guard, because obviously when something like that happens, they take it very seriously, and
Mm.
you have to have 24-hour police or security or something actually watching you.
Yeah.
And then they sent me to a treatment facility once a psychiatrist saw me. And then I must have been in there a couple of days. And then I reached out to a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
and she put us in contact. And yeah, I think from there, from that moment, it was I think that was a catalyst for future events.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being very fascinated. So we were on a call and there was we weren't on a video call or anything like that.
No,
And you were sharing briefly with me what was happening,
yeah.
and how you were feeling. And I remember asking you a poignant question. I remember saying something along the lines of, this might sound strange. I know we don't know each other, but I feel like there's two of you.
Yes.
And do
Yes.
you want to share what your response to that was?
Yes. So I didn't know this, but I had a body code session probably about a year prior. And in that body code session, I had found out that I had lost a twin in utero. I asked my mom about it, and she kind of just doesn't understand, or maybe she's just avoiding the size of the thing. I don't even know how to explain it, because she's so blasé about it. She really doesn't want to even engage in the conversation. But anyway, so I did have to ask her what that was about, and she said yes, she did lose a twin in utero at about 7.5 months. She kind of, at that time, the doctors didn't really do anything, so she didn't do anything. They just, went in, took it out, and that was the end of it. She didn't. think it was a thing. And then we'd never spoke of it again. Never spoke of it until till we had that conversation.
Because I remember in our conversation that she birthed you, but she didn't birth
Yes.
the twin.
No.
So your twin sister stayed in the womb with you for a month and a half.
No, she stayed with me for so it was about 7.5 months.
Yeah, 8, 9. So about a month and a half, maybe two
Oh,
months
yes, yes, yeah,
in
yeah,
the womb. Yeah. So there would
yes,
have been cells being reabsorbed by you of your sister.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And
So
then that the doctors didn't do anything because your mum didn't birth your sister at the same time and they sent her home.
yeah, so she went in for a scan, and I think at that time she only did like 2 scans when you're pregnant,
Yeah. But
and so there were
very few back then, probably.
yes, yeah, so she went very late on, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, there's 2 heartbeats and there's 2, there's 2." And then there wasn't, but there was definitely 2, and then there was only obviously 1 baby, yeah.
Mm. And then didn't she go back? She went back into hospital to birth your sister after you were born and got very, very unwell.
No, 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 she never, it was just there was nothing.
Ah, wow,
She
interesting.
She may have, I may, she may have gone in to have it removed, have it
Yeah,
actually.
but I remember at the time you told me because it was quite fresh for you then, um,
Yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
that she got really unwell after she'd had you. The doctors had said that she would pass whatever was left. She had birthed you, and that she didn't pass the rest of the
yes, yes,
placenta.
I think you are right. Yes, because
Yeah.
that was actually another thing that came up with the body code, was that she had some issues with her female organs, and again, I didn't know what this was, so I went and asked her. Yes.
Wow, interesting that it must be so painful for mum to even to dive into that or open that door a little bit, right? To
Yeah.
be able to share that with you.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to
Mm.
really admit that she lost another child, essentially. She just doesn't
Mm.
wanna even go down there, so she just kind of brushes it off as, "Oh, she had a twin pregnancy, and then she only had 1 baby, and the other
Yeah.
one was just, like a fluke," it just kind of reabsorbed, and it doesn't mean anything.
But it does because it really impacted you, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that 2 intuitive people have picked up on this in a very strong way. It's not even a doubtful thing. It's very much, "This is what's happened." And she just wants nothing to know more about it. And literally that's all she told me was what I've basically said to you. There's nothing more to the story, and there's nothing more, she puts no energy into it.
And now for you going forward, so we had our conversation and then we had a session. We had a session around you being able to fully take in your sister.
Yes. Was that the session at your house? Was that
Think
the one?
so. Yeah,
Yes.
because you came up and it was like it was just transformative in front of my eyes.
Yeah, that was a big one as well. I remember that
Yeah,
so well.
yeah.
Yes.
The importance of acknowledging all who belong in our family system.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I think that is so profound, is just knowing that we're not alone. There's just so much around us, giving us that support,
Yeah.
and we've just got to remember it. I think if you choose to dismiss it, it does feel quite different. But like you
Mm.
say, if you actually acknowledge it, it does make a difference to how that interacts with your life.
And the significance of your two horses leaving on the same day, and
Yeah,
then the catalyst for all of that when you went back to South Africa for your father's funeral. And
yes, yeah,
um, yeah, sometimes when there are things that need to be seen
yeah,
that
without a
are
doubt,
up quite
without
a, yeah. that was a very powerful way to be bringing that to the forefront.
Yes. Yeah, I like often think we could have done it a bit more subtly, but I wasn't listening, I wasn't hearing it, and I
Mm,
needed a big bang to pay attention to what needs to be needs to get done. And it's quite amazing. It's like it was explosive, and there were lots of big things happening one after the other. Oopsie. And now it was almost as if from then it's been slowly been tapering back down, kind of bringing me back to the ground. I feel like I'm becoming it sounds weird, but it feels like I'm becoming more human again. Whereas before I was just in this other dimension, like really
mm,
battling to be on the earth when I'm spiritually not here. So I think through all those events, it's taken me to a place to kind of see my capabilities and where I can go maybe.
yeah,
And slowly we've just tapered down to kind of bringing it back to human. Is That's what I feel. It's a bit hard to put into words because it's hard to actually conceptualize what I feel and
mm.
for the last 3 years, what's happened inside.
With the rejoining with your twin, or bringing her into you and acknowledging her, and
Yeah.
how has that been an impact for you in life going forward, like in your relationships and just in daily life? How has that impacted?
I think it was in the beginning, it was really quite amazing because once you brought it to light, and then I kind of figured it out of how to lean into her basically. I guess at that time it was really important for me to know that I'm not alone. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
And because I had massive shifts, in the background as well, with family and housing and just everything had basically shifted. My whole life had been tipped upside down. I kind of just needed to know that I wasn't doing it alone. And I think with that, it came quite obvious to me. Like I could drive in the car and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm not alone. It's fine. Like I'm not actually alone." And that was the big thing is you're not alone. Like I had to keep saying that to myself. I'm not alone. I'm fine.
when you look back, had that been something that had been there all your life without you recognizing it, or you were
Yeah,
aware
I think
of it
so.
but didn't know? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I get the feeling without a doubt my whole life and I just not recognize it. And then when that happened, then you just that acknowledgement, it does change things quite a bit. It really is hard putting it in words because it's more about what you feel of the actual physical things that happened. Like I could sit when I was in the treatment center, I was literally alone. They lock you up, you've got nothing because obviously it's dangerous to have
Yeah.
anything in there with you. That's when I went in really deep, and you kind of realize, well, you can just turn a blind eye and it's going to just kind of it'll make it worse for me. Or I could actually just be curious and I'm not going to lose anything. I'm just going to see where it goes. And then once you become curious, it's like the gate opens and they show you what you need to know. Firstly, they don't give you more than you can handle. But I think we doubt what we can handle as
Yeah.
we can handle a lot more than what we think we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we choose not to get curious, all right, we might there's a potential to spiral deeper into, yeah, it's even your dog's agreeing. Yeah,
Was
deeper into whatever is pulling us down. So we would call that in constellations, that experience that you had we would call that a pull to death,
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what it
unconscious pull
was.
to death.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And I did kind of have it a little bit afterwards still. And I think that's why I needed to come see you was because I did feel that pull was absolutely still there.
Mm,
And we had a big session that day. Yeah, with that big session, it helped me again just get curious to the pull and not actually go with the pull.
yeah.
It took a while. It probably took about, I would say, a good 6 months to a year to fully
Mm.
release from that, let it go completely, or let it go
I
off.
love that you were willing to do the work too.
Yes.
You were able to look at the process and allow it to unravel because it had been there. Because I think you were in your early 40s, yeah, when
30s. So I was 34. I was 34 when it happened.
34, when you and this you'd only been had the news from your mother not too much in the recent years before the event, yeah. So you had your lifetime up until that time holding it all in the secret that was unconscious within you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yes, that's a
mm,
beautiful way of saying it. Yeah,
mm.
definitely.
And then peeling back the layers. And I think over that time there were numerous layers, right?
Yeah, and it was all
And
starting to fray. Like it just needed to come, the undoing needed to happen. It just became too loose-ended and for nothing to happen. I think something had to give
yeah.
for that to come, for a lot of things to come to the surface. Yeah.
And now in 2025, in July 2025, how are you doing now?
So going back to so the first trip obviously to South Africa, that was my first trip home since moving to New Zealand. So first time back in 9 years, which was
Mm,
awful. Absolutely hated it. And so I went back to South Africa in May this year, me and my daughter, and we went on a big trip. And it was just total opposite, and it was very introspective. I was like deep thinking the whole time, feeling into everything while I was there. When I came back, it was again this turmoil. Something had to shift. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something had to shift. And then it just popped in my mind. It's like, you've got to move countries again. So, yes, we are now moving to Australia for the shift, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah, and I feel really assured in that decision. It's just, it's kind of like a big sigh. I know
mm,
there's going to be lots of challenges. I feel like I need the challenges. I feel like everything that I've learned over the last 3 years, my tools for my time, which is now, and now is my time to shine, or do whatever it is. I don't need to shine. I can just be, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, I'm in a very good place mentally. I think
mm.
I've hopefully possibly helped a few people along the way that's just needed some direction, just someone to listen to. Either even you don't
Yeah,
always need to give advice. I think advice is sometimes the worst thing to give to people, because they actually find their own advice inside themselves. And yeah, I'd 100%. Was it the most challenging time of my life? Absolutely. But from what it's taught me, it's definitely something I would go through. I'm not saying I want to go through it again, but I've learned so much that I feel like if I hadn't gone through that, I've just grown so much in 3 years. It's actually, that's one of the things that the therapist and because you see a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists, all kinds of therapists, occupational, the
yeah.
whole lot. And that's the one thing they all came back to me and said is they were quite confused at how quickly I could get myself back. And they didn't know, because so I was actually one of the fastest turnarounds they'd ever seen.
Wow.
So the last psychiatrist I saw was outside of the hospital, and he was saying the what made them so nervous was the quick turnaround, and how was I going to cope outside without the support they could give inside. And yeah, I think it just goes back to what you put in is what you get out.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, basically, I knew I had to get myself out of a situation and I needed to figure out how to do it. And I think if we do that with everything in our life, we can work through things, but just work through one thing at a time, not
Mm.
the whole thing. Just
Yeah.
one, if you can just work through 1% at a time, eventually you'll get to where you need to be.
I'm so grateful that you answered your friend when she had messaged you in the morning and that she was curious enough to say, this doesn't feel right. And then,
Yes.
yeah, there are different ways that we have journeys and different ways that we open up to things. And obviously, like you said, you don't really wish for that journey again, but the experience, the outcome of it, the
It was like
expansiveness.
a catapult. You can't explain it. It's just so immensely, it was so fast as well. It was really just a catapult into my future, basically, which was, I couldn't have done it without those experiences. Yeah. I couldn't
Absolutely.
be here without those experiences in this position that I am fortunate enough to be today.
I'm curious about a few things that I know about the vanished twin and just wondering how that is aligned for you. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. Not ambidextrous?
No.
Okay. And you've shared that you've always felt like there was something missing. Do you have any unusual birthmarks?
No, funny enough, I have no birthmarks really. One thing I can say is I was a very like deep child, very deep. And I definitely felt like there was always someone there, like
Yeah.
without a doubt.
So that would be your maybe your invisible friend that was very real
Yeah,
to you.
just I just knew someone was there. Like even when just as an example, when I was in school, I would do athletics races. And I would always talk to someone before the race, like, oh, let's do this, we can do this. I would always refer to we. Yeah, just always like always talking to someone. I always had company as a kid, always had company, but I was very alone.
Yeah.
Didn't like the crowds. I could be alone, happy to be alone, but I was always with someone by myself.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that sometimes is shows up is buying two of things or buying multiple of things. Was that something that you did?
That's probably something I do, but I don't know if it's because it comes from a place of fear that I may need it, or or if it's like a a thing of buying. But yeah, that's actually a very good point. I'd actually never thought of it in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I shared that with someone else recently and they went, "Ah, yeah, I do. I have to buy two handbags. I have to buy two pairs of shoes. I have to buy two jumpers if I like one."
Yes.
Like,
That it
oh,
always goes through my mind. It always crosses my mind, especially that if I like something, I'm like, oh, I should get another one just in case. But um, I never thought of it in that way. Well, now I've got something else. You may have planted a seed.
doesn't mean you have to buy two. It's the awareness of, oh, why am I choosing two as
Yeah,
well?
definitely.
Okay, interesting. Yes, it,
Ye-
it certainly opens your eyes to different
Yes.
things. And there are a number of other things off the top of my head. I can't quite. Those are kind of the highlight things I think for me.
Mm. Well,
Um,
I think now that I think I go every time I speak to you, I go another level of deepness and a deeper awareness. So maybe if I do think of anything else, I will definitely let you know.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being willing to share your story today, and I'm so grateful that you're here, sharing and like you say, being able to support other people and living your life, living
Thank you
your
very
life.
much. Just
Mm.
a quick thing. I don't know why it keeps popping in my head. What do you think about the color purple? I just
Oh,
have purple dinging off in my head like crazy. Like
for you or me,
I feel like it's for me, but I
purple is a beautiful color. It's
maybe.
often associated with your
Mm,
crown, third
yeah,
eye.
but I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the day we spoke, you said something about purple. Oh, now it's going to bug me. I'm going to have to go think about that. There's definitely purple ringing
Okay, well,
crazy
it'll
in
be
my
interesting.
head.
I
Okay.
must have planted a seed maybe
Yeah.
or activated something. I think purple, I often see purple too with people that are experiencing an awakening
Yes.
or that are in that space of being very psychically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that as well. Lots to think about now.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I think we'll leave it there. And if anyone who's listening to this, if there's anything that you feel that this has brought up for you, if you would please take care of yourself, reach out to someone that you know, someone that you trust. My number is available here for contact. And yeah, please look after yourself.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
Thank you for listening. Head over to Instagram and tell me what's resonated for you with this episode. You'll find me at tracy.cartwright. That's Tracy with no E, .cartwright. Or head over to my website, tracycartwright.co.nz, and receive a free audio with the gift from your ancestors. So until next time, be kind to yourself and have fun doing it.